Dr. Lynn McNally,
Oh, yeah.
Naturopathic doctor, and we're here today for the Naturopathic Legacy Project's Elder Practice interview series. Thank you for your time and for sharing with us. We appreciate your help in preserving our past and our future. So, we have some questions. First of all, where do you practice and how long have you been in practice?
My name is Dr. William Michael Dronyk. I graduated from Canadian Memorial Chiropractic College in 1974. I took a postgraduate course in naturopathy and I attended classes in Kitchener at 43 Benton Avenue. Then we moved to OICC, which is right beside I think it was originally the original site of the chiropractic college, and then it got tore down in OICC, you know. And then there was another one on Queens Avenue, I think, down by not Laird. What was the name of the Burrow Avenue, and I attended classes there. So those are the three places that I attended classes. And I graduated in October of 1984, and I started 79-80. And it was all postgraduate weekends, once a month, 3 days, a lot of correspondence. We didn't have computers back then. So that's my education, and we did, a lot of it was homework. We would be given an assignment for different classes, and basically, I think not much different in course content than what you guys have now.
Yeah, and where are you currently practicing?
Oh, I started my practice in 1974 in Port Elgin, Ontario. Well, actually Southampton, then moved to Port Elgin shortly thereafter and stayed there until 1986. Came to Kitchener, and I've been in two different locations, a block and a half away from each other in Kitchener. The new address is 1401 1401 River Road East, right at the corner of Fairway Road and River Road. One of the main Fairway Road is a major thoroughfare. And my other clinic was at 2880 King Street East, which is a block and a half north of Fairway Road, on King. So,
Excellent.
10 minutes walk between them.
Now, which naturopathic principle do you identify with the most in practice and why?
The power that made the body heals the body. One of my major tenets. My definition of health is 100% of the bodily functions working 100% of the time. So when I graduated, we weren't allowed to do blood. We weren't allowed, like we could do it, but the patient paid for it. It wasn't covered under OICC. So who's going to pay $2,200 to have a blood assay done when they can walk down the street and have it for nothing? So most of the techniques that I learned were designed to help me assess the bodily functions. So I got very heavily involved in applied kinesiology, and that led me into total body modification, which is an offshoot of that. It doesn't do as much structural stuff as it does energy of the different organs and organ systems, and then the emotions. And then I finally wound up with BOSS, Bio-Computer Operating Systems, which is a total energy balancing, right brain, left brain, all the organs, emotions, works. So that's where my naturopathy is. I do very little lab work. The lady that bought my practice, Dr. Bishop, is the main consult now. She does all of the blood work and analysis that way. I do it all, muscle testing and energy. So blood typing, I've always done blood typing. I've always checked pH with urine and mouth, and I don't do a lot of blood work or a lot of urinalysis. I do life labs, and I do the pectazole. It's a special test that you do through life labs, and you're checking a R3 factor, and it's an indication of heart disease and or any really serious anti-inflammatory disease. I'm trying to think of the name of it, and I can't. I'll get it from Dr. Bishop and I'll bring it back.
Perfect.
So you can plug it right in. Did I answer your question?
You sure did. Thank you. What are your top 3 modalities that you utilize?
Top 3 modalities: my hand, my head, and my heart.
So, what clinical pearl do you want other NDs to know?
I sincerely believe that we are going too far the scientific route. The gentleman this morning talked about drainage. Dr. Michael Adams talked about drainage. I totally 100% agree with him. I'm not convinced totally that blood typing is bad, but I don't think it's as good as everybody thinks it is. I think a proper consult, understanding a person's background and their emotional state, that all contributes. And I use everything. Chemotherapies, complex homeopathic remedies, oligotherapy, phytogens, no-shows. I do constitutional prescribing if I think it's necessary. I don't do it on everybody. A lot of emotional. I think the best naturopath best advice I can give is honesty, integrity, and a strength of conviction. And if you have those 3 things, no matter what your modus operandi is in your office, if you have those 3 things, you'll keep your patients, you'll make them happy, and you'll win all the arguments in the world. And I really sincerely believe that. Don't lie, have some integrity, and have a strength of conviction, and they will follow you. How's that for a pro?
I love that. Very good. And what is the most gratifying experience you've had in your practice?
There's so many. I'm going to cry again. I had a little girl. She was 5 years old. Her mother, her 2 aunts were patients of mine. And one night at home, I got a call. She had been diagnosed with leukemia. And she was dying. And would I take her on as a patient? And I said yes. And she couldn't leave her house. She couldn't go to school. They had her on broad-range antibiotics. They had her on prednisone or cortisone, some steroid, and she was a mess. I started working on her. I did my boss technique, biocomputer operating system, balancing the right brain, left brain. I went in every Tuesday for over 6 months. And did all my energy stuff. Worked with the mother. And every time I tried to introduce a homeopathic remedy or any kind of supplement, they immediately knew with their blood testing she had to go for chemo every week, every Thursday. And what are you doing now? The funniest part of the whole story was, I said, with all this allopathic drugs that you're on, she needs to have a probiotic. Well, that was the first week. She went back to the clinic, or to the hospital in Hamilton, and said, and she'd gone to get some antibiotic from the pharmacist at the hospital. And he said, she's got to be on an antibiotic or on a probiotic. And so then when I told the mother that the first time I was there, she said, great. So when she goes back that Thursday to talk to the oncologist and the nurses there about a probiotic, probably that naturopath told you that. She says, as a matter of fact, it was the pharmacist in this hospital. The funny part of it was the pharmacist gave her a probiotic that wasn't to be given to somebody under the age of 13, and she was sick. So I looked it up and I said, that's funny. So she took my probiotic, they never questioned her after that. They wanted to know the pharmacist's name, so I said, you should go and give him a heads up on that. Well, she did, and he said, oh, I hope they call me. Because I know what drugs do, and I certainly have more authority about putting people on things than they do when it comes to antibiotics and steroids. So nothing more was ever said. So the only allopathic or homeopathic remedy that she took from me was a probiotic. And I believe, I'm not sure which one, it was an HMF product, I think, or a Probion from Bleeding Heart, one of those, and maybe both, a little bit of it. Every week, every Tuesday I went, and after about 3 months, the aunt came in for a treatment at my clinic, and she started crying. Gave me a great big hug, and I said, what's that for? And she said, I had to go last week. My sister couldn't take Ellie to the chemo treatment. And she said, I saw all the kids that started the chemo with her. And she said, my niece is the only one that looks normal. And the only thing that she's doing different than all the others is you in your interview. So my most gratifying moment was seeing that little girl weekly, holding her own. She's still alive. She's 11 years old now. She was 5 or 6 when I started. She still comes in once a month or 2 months, sometimes 3 months. I still see her mother. I still see her 2 aunts. That's one of my most gratifying stories. I could sit here and tell you story after story about women getting pregnant, not being able to, and getting pregnant. I could tell you stories about RA patients who are no longer stiff. I could tell you all those stories. Cancer people that have responded and are still alive. Wonderful stories. But the most gratifying to me is that that little girl is still alive. I don't know whether I'll ever get any recognition for it. I don't really care. All I care about is little Ellie. She's going into a beautiful sorry.
No, it's an emotional story.
Yeah. And people that have had sciatica, people in severe pain can't even get up, making house calls, all of those things. Done them all. Asthma, 2 treatments. Done. Acupuncture, wonderful work. Miracles. Do you want a funny story now? So there's this lady, tall, blonde, Italian, and her husband came in together. She had, I forget, well over 7 or 8 miscarriages. Every time her period came, her chin broke out in a rash like hamburger. And came in. They were from Guelph. I was in Kitchener at the time. And she told me her whole story, and I said, well, the first thing you got to do is get your period normalized and get this chin cleaned up so when you have a period, this isn't there, and your hormones will be balanced and everything. So we did acupuncture, and we did PBM technique, which has fertility points, and I did all those. So one day I walk into the room, and her husband really bugged me because he shopped at the same clothing store that I did, only he was a lot younger and he didn't have a plot, and he used to wear the same damn suit that I wore. And he really looked good. So, and he always came with it, and he was 6'2", a little bit taller than me, and 215, 210, and I mean buff. And in the same suit, and I had, of course, the button bigger than me. I'm only 4 months pregnant now instead of 9. Anyway, this one day I walk in the room, and she just about like this, and you told me that when my chin is cleared up that I'll get pregnant. Well, my chin has been cleared up for the last 2 periods, and I'm still not pregnant. And I looked at her, and I said, well, maybe it's not you. Maybe it's you. And I pointed at the husband. And I found out very quickly that you don't tell a 6'2" Italian man that he might be impotent or sterile. I could see the hair going up on the back of his head, on the neck. I And I thought, oh, Dronyk, you're in trouble. And I said, but we don't know for sure. But there's 4 fertility points that are on males and females. He had never had a treatment. He always just come in with a word. And I said, and I can check those on you right now, free. I got them, free. So we lay them down on the table, we check them, and they're all there, and I fix them. 6 weeks to the day, they come in. She's sitting in a room with one of those little blue bowls, you know, that you have for vomiting in, like you put needles and stuff in it. She's got one of those under her chin, and she's pregnant with triplets. And he's standing there with a suit that looked exactly like mine, and he puts his thumbs in like this, and he says, and you said there was something wrong with me. And I said, maybe there was. And I fixed it, but I guess we'll never know. But I know. We fixed it. How's that for a funny story?
That was amazing.
I could tell you 100 like that.
What is the most surprising thing you've seen in practice?
People that get better quickly are the worst patients because they take it for granted. Miracles. Like, I've seen miracles. People come in, they can't even walk, they come in the next day. I've seen people with RA swelling everywhere and pain. You do an acupuncture treatment, you give them a homeopathic single dose remedy. They come in and then you don't see them for 3 months. Well, it was busy, you know. And I'm always amazed at the ability of the body, and I'm not convinced. I once read somewhere by a psychotherapist that he said that a behavioral psychologist who said that 90% of all disease is psychosomatic. And I have, in my lifetime and in my practice, seen where you plant that seed that they're going to be better, and they are. Now, I had one MD in Port Elgin claim that the only reason people got better under my care was I was a good talker. And my reply to the lady that told me that, I said, you go back and tell him that if that's true, if he really believes that I can talk people into getting better, then every goddamn patient that's close to a psychiatrist should come to me, because they sure as hell can't do that. And those are the exact words. Well, maybe you better not say those. But that's what I said. And she laughed. She said, you know, you got a point there. It's true. That's the most surprising thing. People that you look at, you go, oh my God, what am I going to do? You do something simple like drainage, change their diet. Yeah, is that even surprising?
That's amazing. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us? Or share about your legacy? Like your legacy?
Well, I'm very lucky. I've got a young lady that bought my practice 2 years ago, and I thought I would be able to teach her everything I knew, you know, in a couple of years or 3 years. I think I taught her everything I know in about 6 weeks. But we worked so well together, and she and I are like a team. She's like my daughter.
That's really nice.
And the patients appreciate both of us, and I encourage every student, don't always think that you have to do it by yourself. Don't be afraid to visit other naturopaths, other practitioners of different fields. Do as much of that as you can, because I'm going to tell you something. The more you observe, the more you can conceive, the more you will achieve. And that is a real major point. Whether the person is doing IV therapy and you don't even believe in it, go and watch them work, because there's going to be something in that office, something that he does, something that the front desk does, something about the layout that you're going to be able to adopt into your practice. And I think the more people you see, and especially you students, this is for the students, get your butt out of the classroom and go visit naturopaths. Whether they'll let you in or not, tell them you're coming in. Tell them Dr. Dronyk sent you. because a lot of people in Toronto don't want to be bothered. I get students coming all the way to Kitchener. I even had them coming to Port Albert. So, to you naturopaths that have practices and you think you're too busy to take that preceptor in, P.S. Take them in, teach them. That's the way you're gonna spread your beliefs, and you're going to help somebody in the profession get better. And I sincerely believe that. And I would like to tell everybody that. Don't be afraid to go and visit another practitioner. And don't think that you have to start out at the bottom. Look at associateship. Look at partnerships. And I don't believe in the pie theory. I don't care if there's 200 naturopaths in an area. That just means there'll be more people exposed to it. Go in there and you'll be all right.
Thank you very much for your time and
Am I
passing
done?
on your knowledge and wisdom.
Yeah. Thank you so much.